Blacktron collection from LEGO. Each sold separately. Batteries not included.
Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today we've got all of the Blacktron, M-Tron, and Unitron minifigures ever made. This is an older space collection, not necessarily classic space, but definitely playing around within that realm of LEGO releases. There are only a few unique figs for each of these themes, so we thought it might be fun to combine the space themes for all the Tron figures together for a collection review video. Like you saw from the beginning of the commercial from the 90s, these minifigures represent a completely different era of LEGO as a toy. No licensed themes existed, no one cared about exclusive minifigures to sets really, well at least not in space themes so much, and there were a huge amount of unique sets to come from one space line at a time, but the figs almost always kind of remained the same, and you can get that because we're looking at 3 different themes and there's only 9 different unique minifigures total. So we're going to be going through these collections chronologically from when they were released, what sets they came out in, and how much they are worth. Let's start off with what I think is probably one of the most well-known older themes of LEGO period. It's Blacktron, and these guys are sprinkled throughout not just the Blacktron theme, which they did have their own theme, but they were essentially the go-to bad guys for all of the other space themes as well. This guy here first appeared back in 1987 in the Invader set, Battle Racks, and Renegade. I'd say he looks like a bad guy for sure, especially when he's got that visor down in all black. There's just that simple white detailing print that just kind of shows the outside of what I would assume is some type of spacesuit, and then of course he's got the air tanks on the back. When you lift up the visor, he had the same facial expression that just about all minifigs had back then, which is your classic smiley face. And I did say that he came out in 3 sets. Those were just the first 3 original ones. He came out in 11 others, mostly between 88 and 91, and he was heavily featured right in the Blacktron line, but also the first edition of Space Police. Because these sets were played with for so much, I mean, people didn't really try to keep their minifigures in great condition as much as people try to do now, I think. And, well, you know, the timeline has gone on for quite a long time. He's coming out back in the 80s mostly, so it's hard to get a new version of a figure like this, a version of a figure that's in very good condition, because they're all really scratched and nicked and banged up and have bite marks and things like that. But to get a good condition of this minifigure, it is $35 roughly. That makes him the most expensive of the collection right off the bat. And let's move on to the next guy. This is a droid. He's not a fig. He did come out in the Invader set from 1987. He is $7, and the only really unique part that I don't think LEGO makes anymore is that middle piece for the body. It's kind of like this little arced over control console piece, or at least it can be used like that. But there isn't too much special about him, so let's move on to Blacktron II. And I gotta say, I'm not as big of a fan of the look of these minifigures. I liked the all black look. They looked a lot more bad because these really are the bad guys of the space line. And that logo for the B just looks a little bit cheesy. It's definitely a bit dated by today's standards. But anyways, yeah, it's got the B on the chest. Looks like almost a stop sign, and you know, the octagon is kind of behind the B. And aside from the body and legs being changed to white, they also switched the visor over to neon green, which matched all of the wind screens of the time. His initial release was in 91. He appeared in 8 different sets that year, and probably 8 or so different sets in 92 and 93 after that. He's about $10 if you want to get him brand new. And then there was just the tiniest variations of this guy from 91 to 93. This is the Blacktron II figure with a jetpack. He appeared in a minifigure pack, the aerial intruder set, as well as the Blacktron super vehicle. He's roughly $15 if you want to get him new, and it's basically just that weird looking jetpack piece that goes over his shoulders, and he kind of grabs it there in the front with his hands. And at least BrickLink makes this distinction, but this jetpack guy also came out in 2 other sets where he just had a couple of little studs attached to the front, which technically makes it a different categorization for fig. Anyways, it counts on our list for collecting at least. He came out in the Grid Trekker set as well as the Suborbital set, and he's also $15. Now that's basically it for Blacktron, though in 2012 they did re-release the original Blacktron minifigure, this time with yellow hands, and I mean, it's just kind of newer pieces for the minifigure body. I don't really think much changed for him. And a new one of these minifigure packs sealed is around 50 bucks, and there was 5 total, so I don't know, I'm gonna guess maybe he's around 10 bucks if you want him. And that is it for Blacktron. Let's move on to the M-Tron figures. I think still a really popular line from the Space series, and they had a bit of crossover with Blacktron, like a lot of them did. They came out first back in 1990, and there's a similar kind of theme with this minifigure to the sort of new Blacktron, where it's just a shape on the chest and then a single letter to make the M. This time it's just M-Tron, so that's the whole line. And once again, I'm not a big fan of the detailing. It's very dated, but it is kind of funny just sort of having a weird looking symbol on a space guy. They didn't even really try to make him look like a space print. They just added space pieces. You can see that they are the same pieces added to the head. The helmet's the same as the Blacktron II, as well as the air tank and the legs. This time they switched the arms to white. The hands are still in black. His first couple of sets were the pulsar charger, beacon tracer, and vector detector, but he also came out in 7 others throughout 90 and 91. He is roughly 15 bucks if you want to get him brand new. And in the particle ionizer set from 1990, this M-Tron droid came out, which just kind of looks like a bigger and more built up version from the Blacktron droid. You can see that that body piece is the same, and so are the arms. They just added a few extra studs, a hinge piece, and some jumpers at the bottom, and some levers at the top. He's around 10 bucks if you wanted to get him sort of built completed. And then the last M-Tron figure has a kind of unique bracket neck jetpack piece. He came out in a minifigure pack back from 1991, and new, I would say he goes for around $13 or $14. Jumping up to the last of the Tron space figs, I didn't really know how else to categorize these guys in any other collection. Unitron was a less popular version. I think Blacktron and M-Tron were definitely a little bit more well known than these guys. They had a little bit of a shorter run in 94, but mostly just 95. To be fair, Unitron gave way to the monorail transport base set, which is a very well-known classic set. But when I'm usually talking to AFOLs about old space themes, Unitron rarely comes up. The first guy here appeared in the monorail transport base set like before, and 3 others from 95. He sells for roughly 8 bucks. He's got that red hair kind of line coming through that was pretty common for figs back then, and also the face shows a print for some communications. There's like definitely a speaker coming down on the inside of the helmet, and this time I actually like the decoration or the print that goes on the front of the chest piece. It looks more space-like. It feels a little bit more sci-fi, though the general color combination feels a little bit funny. It kind of looks like they tried to get all the classic space colors into a minifigure for the Unitron line, but all in all, I think they look all right. Anyways, that's just my opinion. Like I said, he's around 8 bucks, and then another version of this guy, well, basically just a different version of the Unitron guy came out. This time he's got a different head print with a cooler, weird silver visor, and his helmet has a bit more mechanical sort of space detailing printing on the top. He appeared in the Space Explorers set from 94, as well as 3 others in 95, and that helmet's a little bit more unique, as well as the face print too. So he is around 12 bucks if you wanted to get him brand new, and that is all 9 unique figures from the different Tron lines, including the 2 extra droids. And usually at the end of these collection videos, I like to say what minifigure I would like added to the theme if they were to still add minifigures to this particular line, but I can't say that I could really think of anything like that. I don't know if that question really applies to this type of collection review video, but I would say that a new space theme to come from LEGO would be cool. I don't care if it's a re-release or based on an old theme like Blacktron or M-Tron, but a new space theme would definitely be appreciated on my end. So anyways, that is it for this video, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoy our content, you can always like or subscribe and let me know what type of collection video you want to see us do in the future in the comment section below. All right, that is it for this episode. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.